All right, Stan, to Juju's point, let's do this as quickly as we can because there's a bunch of interesting stuff in basketball. Would you agree with me that if we reseeded everybody in a jumble, Boston would be the 1 seed and the next 10 seeds would be from the West?
No, I would say that the number 2 seed is Philadelphia with a healthy Joel Embiid. 30-8 on the year with Joel Embiid, a higher winning percentage than what Boston has. If he's healthy and in shape, I think they are the biggest threat to the Celtics in either division.
I legitimately had forgotten about them because he's been out all season.
Yes.
But the last 5 games, they've looked at, and if he can stay healthy, a giant if. I stand corrected. You don't believe Boston has a weakness, though, do you? Or are you somebody that says, nope, empirically, late in games, they might not be mentally weak, but they're not getting the shots they need late in close games?
Well, I would agree with the last part. I don't really like the shots they get down the stretch. But listen, we're nitpicking to find weaknesses with them. And we got to remember, this is not the NCAA tournament where you've just got to beat them once. You got to beat them 4 times. I mean, I have a hard time seeing anybody doing that. The 2 teams I think are probably closest to them are Philly, like I said, and then Denver. And I do think they have a little problem. Look, to combat the teams with great centers, then they've got to play Horford big minutes, which takes Porzingis off the floor a little bit more. And Porzingis is a huge part of the matchup problems they create. So I do think those 2 teams would have a chance. I don't think anybody else does. I think it would have to be either an injury to Boston or just a major meltdown on Boston's part for anybody other than those 2 teams to beat them.
Stugotz is bored by the greatness of Jokic. I've been told that we have a song now to celebrate the boring, droning greatness of Jokic.
Here's a start of the day from that big man, Nikola. Godlike skills put on display, but we're feeling so blasé, setting records all the time. We've become so indifferent. We're all bored, but what the hey? Jokic stat of the day.
So this is Stugotz's idea. He thinks we should give it like while yawning, like having difficulty.
We should, yes.
Last night in a game they had to have, Jokic, 41 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, shot 80% from the field, 100% from 3.
And by the way, against the guy, Dan, that people think will win his 4th Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Boring.
You tell me, Stan, is he the best offensive basketball player there has ever been?
Whoa.
Well, you can make a case for him being the best offensive center. I think actually the best offensive player now that I have ever seen is Luka Doncic.
Okay, so we've gotten there.
Did you see MJ?
No, hold on a second.
Wow.
Stan,
I did see MJ. I did.
Stan,
Just making
Stan,
sure.
let's go. Stan, you got to give me the take. Let's hear it.
Well, listen, I just don't think there's anything the guy can't do offensively. He's absolutely huge, first of all. I mean, he's 6'8" and big. He shoots the ball from deep. Now, I wouldn't have said this even a year and a half, 2 years ago. He's become a more consistent shooter from range. His range is incredible, and he's been very efficient shooting the ball. He can drive the ball from the perimeter. He can score in the post, and he's one of the best passers we have ever had in the league. There is literally no one who can match up with him. And when you bring the second defender, he can pick you apart. Look, I think when we incorporate both ends of the floor, there's guys who I would say have been better players than he is right now. But as strictly offensive players, I think he's the best I've ever seen.
He just asked you. He really did that to Stan Van Gundy. Have you seen MJ? That's what
I have, but
Have
I
you
think
seen Malachi
Doncic.
Flynn?
Listen, it was a different game, and so had Jordan come up in this game, maybe he would have shot the three as frequently and as well as Doncic did. And he certainly, MJ got to the point where he shot the three well. It just wasn't a volume 3-point league. So maybe he would have evened him up on that part. Jordan certainly wasn't a bad passer, but he was not Luka Doncic as a passer. And he did not have Luka's size and strength. I just, look, I'm not trying to demean Michael Jordan in any way, or LeBron James for that matter, but Luka Doncic to me is at a different level offensively.
Stan, real quickly, Adam Silver said what Jontay Porter did was the cardinal sin and could face banishment. Do you have any opinions on what that young brother did?
Well, first of all, we don't know what he did or didn't do. So accusations are one thing, allegations, but we'd have to see proof. But I do think that betting on games is pretty bad. Like, the one thing you want as a sports fan to know is the integrity of the game. If somebody's messing with that or potentially messing with that, and that's why the point shaving scandals over the years have been bad. Now, I will say this, Jontay Porter is never in a position, I don't mean to demean the guy, but he can't affect the outcome of games. He just doesn't play a big enough role. So I wouldn't call it the cardinal sin. But if you had a guy gambling and he were getting playing time, well, then you'd have a pretty bad situation.
Stan, in fairness to Michael Jordan and MJ, it's hard to pass with all those rings on your fingers.
Thank you, Stan. It's nice seeing you again. He's in Boston. He's doing it better than anyone is out there. Did you want to preview the game, or is that promotion enough? Is there something that you want to say to?
You know what? You know how these late season games are. We don't know. It's a big game for the Knicks. We have absolutely no idea how Boston will play it. I don't know who they'll play, who they won't play.
Okay.
So, no,
all right. That's fine. That's an excellent promotion. I love that. That's great.
Sold.
That's it. That's perfect advertising for the game, the national game on TV.
I was going
tonight.
to watch. Now I'm not
Holy, that was a sales job. That was so bad. He couldn't even fake